This is my last input and do teaching here in Miami-Dade County, Miami International, United Nations of America, as America. And it's about the philosophy of logic, as I study at the University of Florida as a philosophy student. And I must teach us that the philosophy of logic is morally good. And morally good is pleasurable, and pleasurable is decent, and decent is adequate. Adequate is satisfactory, satisfactory is charming, charming is beautiful, and beautiful is sweet, kind, and polite. Polite is aptitude to etiquette and mannerism and due responsibility to a basic foundation, to logic as a continuity, a basic enunciation of circularity, as an argumentative synonymity, which allows one to understand that logic is actually ethically moral. And all philosophical schools agree that the philosophy of logic in all legal systems is a moral code. The philosophy of logic from the Aristotelian school in Greece, in Alexandria, in the school of Athens, allows itself to enunciate the fact that by the Library of Alexandria, logic is a good thing. We understand as humans that responsibility to intelligence is to respect the philosophy of logic as a positive, moral, and ethical code of proper mental behavior in using the most common attitudes in theme to bring about the best principles in debate. My great gift to life is to understand that the philosophy of logic in reality is synonymity to moral goodness. And moral goodness to us is the principle of righteous understanding, of good and life-nurturing, life-enhancing, progressing, and leading greatness, goodness, friendliness, allyship, companionship, togetherness, combining innovation, synthesis, to use this in grammatical profundity, in a very, very soft and beautiful tone, so that the argument may consistently make sense and be always to the duty of self-amelioration, to self-embetterment, and to self-realization as a truth that pertain to a personal experience that is actually realized as a cognitive psychology. And from there, a developmental cultural sociology by which to breathe an anthropological method of analysis to art and music and theater and the very foundations of human behavioral methods in developing a great and good new world. It is important to really protect the philosophy of logic and to stand up for the philosophy of logic and to stand up for good teachers of the philosophy of logic, which will allow you to understand that the philosophy of logic stands for positivity. Now, the opposite of logic and the philosophy of logic is really not a synonymity, as we have just learned. It would be an antonymity and an antithesis, a non-example and non-logic, a incorrectness, an error, an that mere don't go there, don't do it. You can negate it, but you can't even negate that. Simply said enough. To protect logic is to protect the foundation of human intelligence. And to protect those that protect the philosophy of logic, as I am still a research student at the University of Florida for logic, is the most important thing we can do. Thank you so much for protecting the positivity of the philosophy of logic. And thank you so much for understanding that logical philosophy is morally good. Every philosopher does it. You cannot graduate school without it. You cannot be a lawyer without it. Therefore, you cannot be a paralegal without it. You cannot be a judge without it. You cannot be legally part of a court system and actually have gone through logic class and gotten an A without it. So be smart enough to believe enough in the educational system and respect optimistic people that understand that optimism makes common sense. And the faster the brain, the faster the speech. The faster the speech, the faster the smart. I'm one of the most intelligent people I know because I'm so optimistically smart. Realize that as an author can write so fast, a book in a day, as I have, quickly, be sure to know that optimism is the best way to write of the best case scenario in the philosophy of logic. By theme, by grammar, and by education, we write the answers to psychology, which build and develop great, cosmic, universal integrity in philosophy.